Hey everyone, and welcome back to Tiny Bunny. The last episode of Tiny Bunny, we had a horrible nightmare. Actually met with the owl. And per my last description, ha 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 ha, the bully went missing. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, let's get back into it. Right now, we got out of school after the police officer, I believe his name is Tikhonov, came in and questioned everybody, but got a little sus with us. We learned a little bit more about the other victims that were missing because he left the file on our desk. So we looked through it a little bit. We found there was like a 6-year-old girl, and I forgot her name, but she was also missing. And it's the girl that showed up on the program in the first episode, if anyone remembers that, when you're trying to watch Peter Pan with Olio. And now this annoying person is here. Oof, just started right here. Biasha, that's his name. I kind of mixed him up. Hey, what's up with the stupid grin? Okay. My numb lips immediately shrank. Biasha was shuffling his feet in the middle of the yard, his boots restless on the ice. I tried to go around him, but to no avail. Lady Fortune waved me goodbye, disappearing in the early twilight.
Немного. Меня папа ждет.
Я ему тиркну на пейджер, что ты не придешь
на. Glossary for pager. Pager, a wireless telecommunications device that receives and displays alphanumeric or voice messages. To send a message to another person's pager, you'd had to call the special line, provide the recipient's number or name, and read your message aloud. My eye flinched unwittingly. My skin dampened. I felt chills run all over my body. Which, if you don't remember, prior to this, we had just had a little meet cute with Polina. She's not super angry at us for not going with her and instead of going with Alyssa. So, a little bit flirty. I didn't like the sound of that small business. Those words, accompanied by spitting, normally hid very dark deeds underneath them. Strangers that used to call our old apartment used to say, "Get your old man, we have a small business to discuss." Biasha turned around. He looked like an astronaut in his tight hood. If I were to imagine him as a sound, he'd be a deafening whistle, a signal given by someone who stands to watch. To my demise, there was nobody at the backyard. Apart from the grim-faced Ren'Py. Look, God, he looks like he's ready for business. He's literally gonna beat my ass. He stood there, his feet wide apart, with his right hand hidden behind his back. Ren'Py's dry lips were tightly pursed, kept shooting glances at me as he looked around.
Вижу. Ну здорово, Антоша.
Что тебе нужно?
Why are you so rough? Like, what in the world happened to you? Because at least with Simeon, I was thinking that, like, maybe he wasn't always like that. Because I think at one point they did say that Simeon became sort of like crazy, and I wonder if it's because of Ren'Py and Biasha like bullying the hell out of him. Because Biasha basically, Ren'Py basically threatened him when they jumped us in the forest. Was like, you better make him hop around in that mask, otherwise I'm gonna make you hop around in that mask, right? So it seems like Simeon isn't. Maybe he's not like that to his core, you know. Even though I was laughing at him like being missing or whatever. He's still a kid at the end of the day. And I wonder what Ren'Py went through, because he says something about his dad fighting in the war and stuff. So to be like this age, because we're like, what, 12 or 13, I think, here? To be this age and to be this aggressive, I don't know. Maybe it's not a deeper thing, and maybe he is just a piece of crap. I don't know. He slowly took out a thin, carnivorously shiny blade from behind his back. A knife, the steel butterfly of death that flies toward the victim's heartbeat. I stepped back instinctively and rammed my back into Biasha. Ren'Py's minion pushed me back.
А мы с Бешей хотели узнать. Ты не держишь на нас обиду?
Ren'Py started picking on his yellow nail, looking at me with an evil smirk on his face.
Ну, там, в лесу. Мы были немного грубы с тобой.
Сам понимаешь, такое у нас воспитание.
Close your mouth, please.
Да, до вас городских далеко. Вот порой нас и заносит.
I nodded, my eyes glued to the knife. The blade glowed under the setting sun, and Ren'Py's eyes had the same evil glow. He stepped toward me. His knife traveled inches away from my coat. One movement and steel would cut into the cloth. And if he pushes deeper...
Нам одна птичка напела. Ты опять возле Полины отирался?
Why are you so obsessed, dog? What, you want Polina? Huh? Mad because bro's got some riz? I was so scared that it took me a while to remember who Polina was. My brain was malfunctioning. My knees were shaking. Suddenly, our class rep slowly walked up to Ren'Py from behind.
Смотрю, мальчики, вы нашли общий.
Ugh, there's evil again.
За мной должок, Катька.
Ой, не благодари, Ромочка. Я всегда на страже настоящей любви.
God.
Да-да-да.
I'll kill you, I swear.
Так, я не слышу. Ты к Полине подходил или нет?
Мы так болтали.
Болтать будешь кишками, когда я тебе брюхо вскрою.
The blade slid across my sleeve with its dull side and reached my collar. The wind made my face cold, but a bead of sweat still trickled from my temple. A switch flipped in my head. It all made sense now. I remembered Ren'Py constantly sneaking glances at Polina. I remembered his scrawly handwriting and questionnaire. Why didn't I study it more in depth?
Еще раз замечу рядом с Полинкой, пеняй на себя. Шишкой не отделаешься. Усек?
Да.
Пшел вон!
I was probably still hypnotized by the knife that Ren'Py had to repeat his threat.
Вон!
I thought about the cold, sharp blade when retreating from the yard. I was asking myself whether I had enough courage to break the promise I made to these bastards. The aftertaste of horrible water I drank down my meds with lingered in my mouth. My thoughts were focused on Polina. But Ren'Py's threat was also in my mind.
Да, ага.
I wandered around the house, feeling intoxicated, and nodded to everything my sister said without trying to discern her words.
У них был какой-то праздник, и они там поделки лепили и делали все своими руками. Нужно было сначала принести природные материалы, листики всякие там, потом еще шишки.
This is a good meme. I'm not super great at editing, but I would use this as like a sped up meme or something.
Нужно было класть.
Да,
И так все красиво было.
Olia was talking non-stop, at times lifting her up. I'm sorry. Olia was talking non-stop, at times lifting up her arms and laughing, only to then suddenly go quiet and give me Mom's signature gnarly look.
А?
I was yanked out of the prison of my own mind, where seething thoughts pecked at my brain like harpies, stopping me from coming back to reality. I stared back. Olia looked like a mini version of her mom right now. Well, to be precise, she looked like the person Mom turned into when we moved here, with her intimidating posture and her eyebrows erected toward the ceiling.
Ты меня не слушал, так?
Sorry, I almost got killed today. She tried spitting out those words at me, copying facial expressions of the person she spent almost all her free time with. For a moment, I felt like the light Olia exuded all those years waned and wavered in the wind of prologue changes. Very soon, my beautiful princess will turn into the dragon that was once guarding her prison tower. That thought was much scarier to me than any other horror sneaking up to me in the future.
Оля, прости. Ты же не сердишься, правда? Я просто задумался.
I looked around the room, my gaze jumping from one object to another like a hungry beast, trying to find anything to distract Olia.
А давай в приставку поиграем.
Ooh, what console you got? Olia pouted, but there was a spark of interest in her small emerald eyes. The Snow Queen's ice shard inside them started thawing.
А как же второй джойстик? Не работает же. А папе починить некогда.
Можем из пистолета пострелять. В ковбоев или уток. Хочешь?
Ты лучше меня играешь.
Да ладно тебе. Пойди целый день тренировалась, пока меня дома не было.
Olia burst out laughing. Her heart was warm once again.
А как ты догадался? Я сейчас знаешь, какая меткая. Считай, уже проиграл.
Не на того напала. Включай скорее.
That looked sinister for a second. Like a Like one of those entity things or something. Little Olia jumped toward the TV set and, after flickering the power switch, started blindly feeling around the backside of the photon, trying to plug the console's cable into the antenna input. Hey, Bruce Lee. Ooh, badass. Bits of TV shows started flashing on the CRT screen when I armed myself with the remote to look for the channel that sought after Dindy's signal. Wait, did the glossary thing just pop up? Dindy, an 8-bit gaming console that circulated in the CIS regions in the 90s. It was an unofficial third-generation Famicom or NES clone. Neither Famicom nor NES were ever licensed for the Russian market, so Dindy was the only popular alternative for 8-bit gaming during the time period. The more you know.
Что дома интересного происходило?
It was a mundane question for me. I didn't put any actual meaning behind it. But Olia's expression suddenly changed. She lost all the childish nonchalantness she worked so hard to acquire before.
Оль, что-то случилось?
My sister managed to put the cable in its place and started brushing off her dust-covered hand. She was clearly looking for the courage to continue the conversation.
Мама,
Olia went silent, and for a moment I thought I saw tears welling up in her eyes.
у нее опять был этот страшный...
Uh-oh. My sister looked at me with wet eyes.
Приступ.
What do they mean by a fit? I don't think they mentioned that before. This had happened before, but it was on a rare occasion. Now that we'd moved to this godforsaken place, Mom's fits rose frequently.
Папа
Is that a
принес
fish?
рыбу.
Ew.
Она в газету была завернута и пахла так... Бэ. А мама опять начала злиться. Потом взяла нож.
Olia squirmed, looking fearfully out of the window.
И начали громко ругаться. И...
I froze, imagining my little sister so small and unnoticeable, standing in the kitchen doorway. She wasn't even trying to hide. Her parents just paid her no mind at all.
И потом мама ударила. Вот так.
Olia slightly moved her fist downward, imitating a strike.
Рыбу. Она была живая тоже. Ей было больно. А мама... Мама...
It was easy to imagine what happened next. The writhing fish with the blade between its fins squirted some foul-smelling musk into Mom's face. Whenever death got this close to my mom, be it when a person was hit by a bus in front of us, or their blood was smeared all over the windshield, or when Grandma chopped off a chicken's head, Mom would always get into a weird, dreadful fit. Her eyes would roll over. She would fall on her face like a freshly cut tree and start writhing just like that agonizing fish, turning over chairs and blurting out bits of scary sentences. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that looks pretty normal. Yeah.
А папа, он ей помог?
Olia shuddered as if just remembering it pained her.
Но вначале... Он засмеялся тоже.
That's... I don't... Look, I'm not laughing because I think it's funny and like the mom's in pain. You ever just see something messed up and you're like, oh man, that kind of took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting him to start laughing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like she's on the floor seizing. And he's just like, oh, screw you.
Когда увидел, что маме плохо. А потом вдруг заплакал.
Yeah, that doesn't seem. Yeah, that seems reasonable to like laugh and then cry and something like this. Because I always wonder. I always think about like people in bad situations, right? Because we're all not just like neutral beings that take in information or whatever. We're a collection of experiences and arguments and things that we've had before. And I imagine that if he laughed and then cried, I'm just gonna speculate that it's just because he's like, my life sucks. I hate my wife. My wife hates me. Everything's not super great, and she's been having these fits repeatedly, and then she starts doing it again, and it's just miserable, and all because he brought a fish home. You know what I'm saying? So he's just like, oh, this, like, he just starts laughing because of how absurd it is, but then starts crying because he's actually sad about it. Olia's story made me raise an eyebrow. It seemed like the forest's oozing badness had not only completely consumed our mom, but also infected our strong and courageous dad. quickly stepped toward Olia and locked her in a tight embrace. Oh, my Shayla's. She dug her face into my chest, and I could feel my shirt becoming wet.
Зачем они так издеваются друг над другом тоже? Они сумасшедшие.
A little bit. I stuttered, unable to justify the actions of our parents. I had ran out of words, and all I could do was hug Olia even tighter. Oh yeah, sick jump scare, thanks. Olia screamed and hid behind me. No matter how many times she saw this intro, she would always react the same, just like when she saw that owl. I mean, I also got goosebumps every time this ghastly face appeared on the screen, so I immediately complied with my sister's request. Glossary. VID, the TV company logo depicting a ceramic head of the Chinese philosopher Guozhang with a three-legged toad on top of his head. It instilled horror in the whole generation of the 90s kids in Russia. I kind of want to see that. Where's my phone? One sec. Oh yeah, that's a little creepy. I have viewed the material. It doesn't jump out at you like that, but it is pretty creepy. I wonder if we put that on screen. Well, we don't have any other choice. Guess there's no need to save. Finally, the game selection screen showed up for the cartridge that was bundled in the console. This is some real retro gaming. Too bad most of the names here were just different levels of the same game. Goose Hunt, Tank 1, Small Bell, Wild Gunman. I picked up the gray rectangular controller, started looking around the pixel letters to find the familiar English word for duck. Background music from the menu soothed Ulia's mind, and she asked in a calm voice,
Как твои дела в школе?
"They suck!"
Ничего хорошего.
Exactly.
Школа новая, а достается мне по-прежнему. Словно и не переезжали никуда. Задолбала.
Before despair could lead me down its depressing road toward the clutches of oppressive thoughts, something evil writhed deep inside my skull, awakening wild and pleasant memories.
Хотя, знаешь, кое-что хорошее все же случилось.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What's he about to say? Simeon went missing? Olia watched with hope-filled eyes as a wicked smile spread on my face, faintly resembling the wound from a box cutter knife.
И еще один мальчик пропал.
Тоша, разве это хорошо? Почему ты так говоришь?
My sister's voice trembled when she looked into my eyes through the thick lenses.
Знаешь, а может, тот пропавший Вова сам виноват, что с ним это случилось?
Nah, chill. Don't be talking to our sister like that, bro.
Может, он совершил нечто настолько плохое, что
No,
не
stop.
заслуживал жить.
Не будь таким жестоким, пожалуйста.
Exactly. Chill out. You're scaring your sister, bro. The parents are already fighting each other. No need to do this. Olia pressed her knees into her chin and hugged them with her hands, trying to take up less space, as if she wanted to shrink or even disappear altogether. It was the only reasonable thing for us to do, go missing among all the other broken toys, and never encounter evil parents or mad classmates. We're the only ones left for each other, the only ones who can protect, listen, and sympathize. Which means she's bound to listen to what I think about them all, these beasts pretending to be children that are so eager to bully the weak. It was my turn to speak.
Думаю, они не последние.
My breathing quickens. My fingers start banging on the wooden floor.
Такие люди, как они, недостойны жить, ходить с нами в одну школу.
Okay, so she didn't see the bullying that you went through. There's no need to act like this, brother.
Смотреть на твой свет.
Oh. My thoughts got tangled. They slipped away along with my my calmness.
Тошенька, хватит. Ты меня пугаешь.
Не бойся, я смогу тебя защитить.
Then I finally noticed that Olia was looking at me like I was a stranger. Exactly, look at this. Look at what you've done. She doesn't want to hear that dark crap.
Кто ты?
You might as well have just pulled a knife on her. The rage that welled up inside me subsided. It hid under the guise of my cowardliness, leaving me alone with a growing feeling of guilt for scaring my sister.
Оля прости, я не хотел. Видимо, я схожу с ума в этой школе.
She rushed to embrace me, barely holding back her tears.
Все хорошо, Тоша. Только, пожалуйста, пожалуйста, никогда так больше не говори.
Клянусь маминым сердцем.
Olia flashed me a bitter smile.
А сам сказал, что так говорить нехорошо.
Ты права. Давай лучше играть.
Только чур я первая.
Do I get to play it? Oh, wait. What just happened? Oh, there we go. That was weird. Oh, I do get to play! She doesn't know me, dude. I'm sick. No! Do they get 3 shots? Okay, hold up. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Again. Ugh.
Считай, это я тебе поддалась.
It's going easy on you there. Hey, she almost beat me, though. GG's. Oh, we're going again? Okay, cool. Sorry, Oli, I can't let a kid win. You gotta learn your lesson. Bop. Bop. No, 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 no. Two more. You had to catch these hands one more time. Oh, perfect.
Это ты виноват, что я промазала.
You know what? Honestly, I would love to keep playing this. I'm gonna save right here, just so I can come back and play Dunk Hunt. All right, we're gonna just turn it off because I don't think the story's good. I think we'll just sit here and play this forever.
Поиграли и будет.
She's looking at me like you were about to lose that time, bro. Oh my God! Wait, what? No, no. Why did we make her upset? Do we have to just keep playing Duck Hunt? Okay, you know what? I'll just fast forward.
Это ты виноват.
Sure, full limits. Okay, go ahead. I got an achievement for that. That's what like took me back for a sec. All right, let's do it. Should I let her win? Are we almost done or something? Why are they going so fast? Whoop! Whoop! She doesn't know I play Cast and Overwatch. Whoop! Whoop! Мучидл.
Неситова! Ты ближе к экрану стоял! Я с тобой так больше не играю!
No, I still made her upset anyway. I should have just let her win. I can't though. Fuck them kids. My mom only managed to get through to me on the 3rd attempt. I sobered up in an instant and rushed to the hallway. She said there's a girl and he was like okay, let's go. I grabbed the phone, pressed it into my chest, looking at my mom. She shrugged and went into the room, gathering the toys thrown around by Olia as she went.
Алло?
У твоей мамы такой молодой голос.
А, ну да. Она сама молодая.
Не мешаю?
Нет, что ты.
If only she knew how costly this conversation could be for me. Would risk like gone just answering this call. There were a pen and a shabby notepad lying on the nightstand. I picked them up and started moving the tip of the pen across paper, producing chaotic doodles that always ended up turning into hearts.
Я тут подумала, мне надо тебе сказать кое-что.
I froze. It can't be. Does she like me?
В последнее время у тебя такой потерянный вид, а сегодня в школе на тебе буквально лица не было.
Couldn't find words. My heart was fluttering in anticipation.
Я хочу сказать, я на твоей стороне.
A smile was spreading on my face in anticipation for Polina's next words.
И мне тебя очень жаль. Такие хорошие ребята, как ты, заслуживают большего. Мне очень хочется верить, что однажды ты найдешь в себе силы дать отпор, и другие перестанут тебя задирать.
The pen fell onto my weak fingers. Is that all she's going to say?
Может, даже девушку найдешь.
She sounded as if she was unsure of her own words.
Короче, знай, ты славный парень.
It was a total failure. Compassion instead of an invitation to hang out.
Ты тут?
Before I could reply, Olia descended the stairs. She was holding some book in a pink cover. Encyclopedia of a young lady.
Ты долго еще?
I covered the headset with my hand.
Я разговариваю. Что случилось?
Почитай мне, пожалуйста. Мама уснула.
Иди к себе, я сейчас.
Только быстрее, ладно?
Ладно.
My last reply sounded excessively annoyed. I sighed, watching my sister run up the stairs.
Алло, Полина?
Прости, мне надо бежать. Представляешь, кое-кто втюрился в меня и теперь оттирается у моих окон, требуя сходить с ним на свидание. Пойду прогоню его, пока дедушка не проснулся.
Careful.
Или, может, дать ему шанс?
What's happening? I bit my lower lip in jealousy.
Если интересно, расскажу тебе завтра.
I guess that I'm saying like what's happening because like first off, what she said initially is not that big a deal, right? She's saying that she feels sorry for him, and I understand how that could feel defeating for Anton, right? Because he's, you know, hoping for more with Polina. She's like and I know that I was kind of ragging on him because I was saying you just met him, blah 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 blah. But one, they're teenagers, right? So when hormones are taking place, whatever, people are gonna like each other. Two, he's just kind of been treated like crap by literally everyone in the school besides Polina and Alyssa. You know, his life kind of sucks, right? So of course he would attach himself. I think anyone would attach themselves to anyone being positive to them or friendly to them in some way. So I don't think that what she said initially was like a bad thing. I feel sorry for you, you know, that sucks. You'll have to fight back, you'll learn how to do this, and you'll get through this and blah blah blah. And I can see how that's disappointing to him. But the thing that's weird to me is that she's like, oh, there's someone outside my window that likes me or whatever. I might go, I'm gonna go show him away, or maybe I should give him a chance. Like, maybe I'm also reading too much into that, but it makes me feel like that she might be trying to be cruel to him. I don't know if she is. That would make sense. I don't know. We'll see. I'll tell you tomorrow if you want. Okay.
В конце концов, друзья.
It could just be that they're friends. Like she's just considered him like a good friend, and that's it. Like it could be totally innocent. Friends. At least she didn't say we were besties.
Да, конечно. Добрый.
The buzzer hammered at my brain. Dirty slut. An angry voice spoke through the teeth in my brain. Yeah, don't get like this, man. Or, you know what? That's fine. Feel your negative feelings. Don't say anything like that to her, though. Like a restless zombie devoid of a consciousness, I dragged my feet up the staircase. I wish I could tell Dad, ask for his manly advice. But he doesn't show up home until late at night because of his new job. My parents don't have time for me, to put it lightly.
Ну, где твоя книжка?
I stuttered. The kid's room was empty.
Оль?
She probably snuck into my room. Started walking down the corridor. The room was infested with shadows. The blinds were wavering like there was someone hiding behind them. I smiled, sneaked toward the window, and threw open the curtain.
Попалась!
There was nobody behind the cloth. The window was a TV screen showing wintry scenery. The lamppost, the field, and a couple of walking figures in the middle of it. Elisa and Olia. Oh, hell no! I gasped and pressed my fist into my mouth, sinking my teeth into it. Alyssa was leading Olia into the thicket. I needed less than a minute to hurriedly dress and rush out of the house. My heart was beating like a firing machine gun. The wind carried the cold. Resinous smell of coniferous trees from the forest. Freezing air crackled somewhere in the field. Two shadows loomed in front of the gate. I could only recognize them as my sister and the fox girl because of their height. He did such a good job of making these pictures look so grim, right? Like, this is good. The artist is so good. I ran toward the fence, listening to the howling wind and the squeaking snow. One of the figures moved and slowly glided toward the thicket like an ice skater. I slowed down and touched my glasses, trying in vain to adjust my vision to the surrounding darkness. Worry landed on my shoulders like a weightless snowflake. A snake woke up in my belly and started writhing. I felt nauseous. I thought about my home, the flimsy fortress I'd left behind. I finally caught up to my sister, dressed in only a coat.
Оля!
Ты видел лисичку?
Оля, зачем ты вышла на улицу? Если мама узнает...
My sister froze in place, facing the taiga. She was in a hand's reach, and I put my numb wrist on her shoulder for some reason, probably to make sure it wasn't a dream. Whoa. A pointy beak was directed at me, trimmed with feathers that formed an owl face. Oh, I like this. You can see the 3D in a lot of these things. Very cool, though. Thanks for the jump scare once again. Something wearing a bird mask was staring at me.
Не узнает.
The voice sounded exactly like Olia's, but there was somebody else hiding behind the feathers in the carton. I sprinted away as if I got whipped. The masked creature only pretended to be Olia, just to lure me out. I was running like crazy, drowning in snow. The house in front of me was rapidly growing. The yellow light in its windows granted me hope. My mom and sister are there, my salvation. I couldn't hear anything from behind me, as if nobody was chasing me. Maybe it's because the owls can fly? I was already climbing the porch when I noticed another figure. Oh. From the black shadow of my house, a scruffy wolf crawled out and stood in my way. I was just like, oh yeah, this looks pretty good. I hope it's another dream. Its movements were jerky, chaotic, as if it was performing some terrifying dance. Or convulsing during a stroke. And even though I could clearly see that the wolf's face was a mask, something in this werewolf's convulsions made me freeze in place. The boy in a wolf's costume rubbed his side against the porch post and fell to his knees. He bent his back so hard that I expected his spine to crack. The beast's eyes shone, but he didn't attack. He kept crawling around and running on all fours. I shifted my feet, my mouth agape, trying to keep him in my line of sight. Something was trickling from the slit in the mask. Viscous drops fell to the wooden planks. Saliva. Some unknown force pushed me in the back, whispering me to save myself. What is this, Five Nights at Freddy's? The fence was flashing by the edge of the mission. Look at that, they're so... Ooh. I was running in another direction this time, toward the toothy edge of the forest that smelled of pine. My heartbeat measured time. The wolf boy growled behind my back as if he forgot his human nature. My right leg got stuck in the snow, laden cavity. I yanked it out, cursing under my breath, and fell to the ground. Plastering snow prevented me from standing up, from popping myself against anything. But my unbound thirst for life helped me get out of that trap. Darkness was creeping closer, like the toxic fumes of burial pyres. I ran again, gasping for air that stung my throat. My hair swayed in the wind. I lost my hat when I fell down, and my ears were now hot from the freezing cold while most of my body was still sweaty. The field finally ended. After realizing that running into the forest wasn't the smartest decision I could make, I dove into the line of trees. I ran without stopping, my face covered with one of my palms. I didn't want to lose an eye to some random branch. Branches whipped my clothes, pricked my skin like butchers that were herding a pig into the grinder. A knot of roots, sprouting from the ground, grabbed at my foot. I rammed into the scratchy trunk, slid down to its base, and looked around in a panic. Whoa. My first desire was to dash toward her and hug her. I resisted it, squeezing myself even tighter to the pine.
Ты... Что ты здесь делаешь?
Да вот,
She was holding the hat I lost.
в бюро находок подрабатываю. Надевай, а то уши замерзнут, а потом, глядишь, и вовсе отвалятся.
She giggled. I squinted in suspicion and shifted my gaze back and forth between her and the hat, scared that Alyssa might be holding a severed head or something even more sinister. But in the end, my hat turned out to be just my hat. Do we have an option not to take it? We don't. I took it and pulled it over my forehead.
Тепло?
I didn't reply.
Там во дворе были какие-то дети.
И что, покусали тебя, что ли?
Нет.
А чего же ты убежал?
The answer was obvious, but after rolling the thought on my tongue, I mumbled.
Не знаю.
Эх, обещала не обзывать тебя дурачком. А я обещание исполняю.
She walked up to me and grabbed me by the elbow. I sensed a familiar aroma of mint, oranges, and burned sparklers. I wanted to lean into Alice to savor the minute, the minute details of her smell.
Сколько можно повторять? Со мной ты в безопасности.
Yeah, sure, whatever. You abandoned me last time to get jumped by 3 douchebags.
Я твой друг.
I don't believe you.
Они.
I don't believe you. I quickly turned around toward the place the fox girl was pointing to. Kids in mass appeared at the clearing. At least they looked like kids since they were all pretty short. This is good. I like the idea of seeing unrecognizable silhouettes. Well, or something that's like recognizable, but it's not right. Right? Like, I think that's one of the things that kind of like gets me, like a fear of mine seeing something I know that I shouldn't see. Like if you see animals or what looks like animals, like you're very sure that like you're like 98% sure they're animals, but then they're like on their hind legs or something, you know that's not right. I think that would be like horrifying. Like that story of like a goat man or something like I heard about, where was it a goat or like a deer or something? They were like in a forest and they heard like crunching and they couldn't find their friend, and the crunching was coming from this deer in the middle of the night and had like red all over its teeth and stuff. And then they ended up shooting it because it noticed them but like didn't move or anything, and it was like really unsettling. So the guy shot at it. Instead of moving, it stood there for a second and then stood up like on its hind legs. It just reminds me of that Adventure Time episode where like there's like that deer that takes off the hooves. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. Let's continue. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. A wolf boy, an owl girl, and a bear boy. An F. They all huffed and gasped for air, clearly tired from running around. I'm gonna keep seeing these. These are great, like thumbnails too, by the way.
Я думала, ты в снег провалился. Стала снег копать, нет тебя.
А я не копал, лень копать было. А ну как получается? Если дурак, ты бегай да копай. А если умный, подожди, пока другие набегаются, накопаются и устанут. И уж тогда заводи разговор.
Как я рад! Дегенерат!
А?
That's the huh? Huh?
Не обращай внимания, он со странностями.
I stood there stupefied, my mouth agape and my hands dangling helplessly. I had no idea how to react to the words of these late-night guests, but I managed to squeeze out something resembling a smile.
Вы просто меня напугали.
They started looking at each other and somebody even snorted as if I said something funny.
Да, лиса права!
Это он.
Нет, это наш!
Неужели нашли?
Наш зайчик.
Да-да, похож.
The wolf's my favorite so far. I like the way the bear speaks, but the wolf is my favorite so far just because he's like.
Ну, конечно, ты первый. Это волчик раньше всех почуял зайчика в тебе и рассказал нам.
Здравствуй.
С нашей совушкой ты знаком не понаслышке. Не такая уж она и страшная, правда?
Да, наверное.
А этот улыбчивый бугай — медвежутка. Ты лучше с ним поласковее, а то голову откусит.
Зачем это?
Да, смотрю, ты чувство юмора где-то обронил.
I was still unsure if these peculiar little animals had the best intentions in mind, so I hid my hands behind my back, trying to look away from the gaping holes of the carnival mouth. Do you think these are just the kids or something? Like, what if this is Katya or Paulina, right? Or, you know, vice versa. This is like Romka, this is like Simeon, who knows? We'll see. Alyssa put her hands to her sides in a theatrical manner and somehow managed to wink with her fox face.
Когда в следующий раз придем, будем звенеть в колокольчики, чтобы ты не так боялся нашего визита.
А у нас разве есть колокольчики?
Чур, я звенеть не буду. У меня лапка болит.
My smile was no longer fake.
О, зубы показал. Это добрый знак. Не ожидала, что сможем тебя рассмешить. Я думала, это под силу только Диснейленду.
Откуда ты знаешь?
Да так, прочитала кое-где.
Про меня?
Про клюв от воробья. Про Диснейленд яхонтовый.
Ты умеешь читать по-человечески?
Okay, I like the way the owl talks too.
Зря я, что ли, в
Hootie.
школу хожу
Okay.
это дня.
Wait, so is it just Hootie? I didn't see this one's name. Was it Wolfie and then Teddy and then Alyssa? Foxy. And then she sang in a coquettish voice.
Как детей не замечать, как мечты их развенчать. Учат в школе, учат в школе, учат в школе. Крепко-накрепко вломить, с детства слабеньких чморить. Учат в школе, учат в школе, учат в школе.
I let out a cautious laugh. My new acquaintances didn't seem scary anymore. On the contrary, they looked friendly and welcoming. There was something about them that attracted me. Just like this clearing, this moon and the snowflakes that fell backwards from the ground to the sky, as if someone was rewinding a tape. Like this. I'm gonna use this as a background, dude. The masked kids got close and I felt their touch. They gave me friendly taps, felt my clothes as if checking whether I was real. There was no animalistic malice in their touch, only pure childish curiosity. For some reason, I thought to myself, I can trust them. Snowflakes just kept on floating upwards.
Никто тебя больше не обидит.
Драк.
That is Wolfie.
Пусть только попробуют.
The fox gave me a slight tug and burst out laughing.
Ну что, Тоша, убежишь с воплями или с нами пойдешь?
Куда?
На аттракционы!
At that moment, Tyga's deceptive silence was broken by the sound of a distant flute. Mesmerizing and alluring, it brought about the ring of crystal glass and whispers of a fresh winter spring. If I had any doubts before, the flute's song shattered the last of them. I started following my new friends before I could even make my decision. My legs carried me on their own will, and the tunnels made of pine stepped apart. Bushes bowed in front of our procession. Somebody was there. Everything looked dreamlike. Because even the clearing we ended up on, I only saw in my dream. The flute soared up into the treetops like some fantastical bird. The snowflakes floated up in a spiral. The moon painted tree branches with silver. Alyssa gasped in amazement. I was also in awe. I tilted my head backwards as far as I could.
Красиво как.
Очень красиво.
Это мелочи. Я покажу гораздо больше. если захочешь.
I did want. I wanted to see what the fox girl saw through her eyes, hidden in the semi-dark of her cape. Now I didn't feel weird about these masked kids. I felt weird for being the only one without a mask. I felt like I was naked in the January winds.
Скажите, а зачем вам маски?
I was trembling, but I wasn't scared. My trembling wasn't caused by the cold. It originated from the peculiar anxiousness, the anticipation of something amazing.
А тебе зачем?
I touched my cold cheek.
Но я без маски.
Обожаю человеческие сказки.
Человеческие ласки?
Человеческие дрязги.
Constant.
Я же говорила, все жители поселка носят маски. Только скрываются за ними отнюдь не люди.
И даже я?
Ты такой рассеянный, Антон.
Однажды мы уже нашли твои очки.
Oh, right.
И шапку. И твое настоящее лицо.
I looked at the mask the fox was holding out to me. The bunny mask that looked like a silver ingot under the moonlight. I was curious to see the world through its slits. Well, we can't really refuse, and I don't want to refuse. Let's go. Suddenly, fighting its way through the flute's melody, a thought came to me. The glasses they found were in Simeon's possession. My new acquaintances must have known what happened to him. My new acquaintances got hands. Unless one of them isn't. Let's chill out. Let's chill out. Or even worse.
А куда подевался Семен? Что с ним стало? И с остальными детьми?
The bear and the owl looked at each other. The wolf boy curled into a ball and the fox lowered the pointy nose of her mask. Oh no, why are you all uncomfortable? What did you do? What did you do?
Тот, кого держали в клетке.
Тот, кто режет мелко-мелко. Тот, кто носит кожаное лицо, забрал их.
Умел бы я креститься, перекрестился бы.
Хотите сказать, это был человек?
Чем ты только слушал? Разве можно назвать такого, как он,
Одно слово. Взрослый.
Oh man.
В мире взрослых так легко потеряться.
убийцы, жестокие дрессировщики и равнодушные родители? Лучше об этом вовсе не думать, чтобы не грустить. Не знаю, как вам, а мне печалиться совсем не хочется.
И я сегодня какой-то негрустный. Антон, а ты?
А?
Like his voice sounds familiar. He sounds like oh god, which one is it? I sort of feel like he sounds like Simeon. Like a little bit, unless I'm remembering Simeon's voice wrong. But he just sounds like one of the boys. I was lost in thought, staring at the pines, trying to pinpoint the location of the flute. I was sure that the person who played it was standing right behind the piney stockade. Someone tall, going over the holes in the flute with their long fingers.
Так что, сядем тосковать или займемся отдыхом?
Алиса хотела что-то показать.
Давай начнем с самой сладкой части программы.
The fox girl took out a handful of candy from her pocket and handed them to each of the kids. Others shuffled. The smell of pineapple, cocoa, and melon wafted in the air. The last treat, a chocolate-covered truffle. Oh, I'm sorry. My brain just farted for a second because I said chocolate-covered waffle candy. I love waffles. God, that must be so good. Alyssa put it. I bet I can make that at home. A chocolate-covered waffle candy. Sorry. The last treat, a chocolate-covered waffle candy. Alyssa put right into my mouth. My tongue was engulfed in spiciness. I felt like my body was covered in fur and small sparks were running along it. I chewed on the waffle and the chocolate, gulped them down, enjoying the vivid taste.
Спасибо.
Spasiba. Put that thing on. My gratitude was barely audible because my lips were already touching the insides of the mask. I didn't even notice how I put the mask against my face. Paper mache was warm. The mask snuck into my skin, giving it a nice prickle. Stuck to my skin. The kind when you dive into a hot bath after outside. Sorry. What's wrong with me? It's like I can't read. The kind when you dive into a hot bath after being outside in winter. When you lie there and purr from the soapy water.
Говорила же, это твое!
Мое.
Чего стоим? За нас веселиться никто не будет.
И то верно.
There's something else, though, to consider. All of them are like sort of predators. Say for Alyssa, like a fox can be in and out, right? But all of them are not something you can take easily or fight easily in the animal kingdom. But I'm a bunny. Are they gonna start chasing me? I sort of feel like they might start chasing me. I don't know. It could go sinister. It could be cool. But I'm just saying, Anton doesn't have very good luck, okay? The girl he likes just sees him as a friend, which is totally fine. He got abandoned. He got beat up. Scared his sister. The melody kept swirling in the field like a hurricane. I couldn't wait to release the energy, the heat that this enchanting music was filling me with. Owl jumped and disappeared into the sky. I heard her laughter from somewhere above, and then she landed back, huffing and sighing.
И ты так можешь. Попробуй.
Followed suit. Whoa! My feet tore off from the ground. I flew toward the stars like a rocket and screamed from happiness after seeing my friends below. The wind helped me fly. It felt like I was jumping in a huge trampoline. Gorgeous. The stars looked like vivid sparkles that I could reach and lick up. The moon also got closer, and then I plunged. Also, I think this is the first time we have color, isn't it? I got scared that I'd break my legs for a moment, but my soles landed softly on the ground and I regained my balance.
С нами ты в безопасности. И все твои мечты станут явью. Я так счастлива наконец обрести тебя. Зайчик!
In a fit of merry laughter, I realized the most important thing. These four are not a threat. My real enemies, and I felt that with every single hair on my mask, were those who knew nothing about magic. Humans from the village. I also realized how alive my surrounding had become. I heard the dry grass under the snow moan. I saw faces of the trees and the stars. The trees were smirking and the stars were grimacing in fear. That's me. That's right. Be scared. I'll jump up to you and... I snapped my teeth, then let out a jubilant laugh, jumping up along with the fox. Very good. Oh. Ooh, sorry. We flew higher than the tallest pines and stayed in the air. I swirled. Alyssa followed my rhythm. I knew that she was smiling, so I smiled too. And the flute just kept on playing, carrying us higher and higher. Look at this. This is cute. I'm just hoping it doesn't turn sinister. I'm just a suspect of everything.
Эй, тебя что, заколдовали?
That someone was standing next to me, I thought, trying to unglue my chin from the desk. My muscles felt slightly sore, but that feeling was pleasant. The whole class was wandering about for some reason, whispering and passing notes to each other. Their faces looked like discolored masks to me, bleak and boring. I yawned, remembering the time I was soaring high above the forest with Alyssa by my side, laughing and squeezing my hand. Perhaps, no, probably, it was all just a dream. Because I didn't walk back from the forest, I just woke up in my bed on a normal morning with tea and medicine. Still, I was hardly worried about trying to find a rational explanation for my night dance. That feeling of flight was much more important. The knowledge of how it feels to be hanging in the air above the treetops of majestic pines and baring my teeth at the moon.
Прости, задумался.
Слышал уже про Катю?
А?
Oh. I glanced at the empty seat in front of me.
Катя пропала.
My sleepiness was gone in an instant. I frowned in suspicion.
Как пропала? Быть не может.
Let's go on and give it a read. Attention, child missing. Katya Smirnova, 12 years old. Katya Smirnova, 12-year-old, grade 6, B, in class B, I guess, was last seen during the day on January 23rd, schoolyard. Identifying features: 155 centimeters tall, green eyes, light brown hair, lean build. She was dressed in a fur-hooded coat, a knitted hat with a pom-pom, and a white scarf, and gloves. Special identifying features: wears a strawberry-themed scrunchie. If anyone has information on Katya's whereabouts, call the following numbers. I didn't think that she had light brown hair. She kind of looks like she's blonde. I don't know. Like in my mind, she looks like she would be blonde. Anyway, rip bozo. Examine all objects in episode 4. Stomp your hooves and wait.
Я сама не поверила, но Лилия Павловна на работу не вышла. Контрольная отменяется.
I remembered Katya. She was both beautiful and mean. Katya, the first girl in our class whose body started maturing, to the envy of all the other female students. The main source of gossip, a snake and a bitch. I continued scribbling in my notebook, drawing rows of pines of 2 small figures flying between the treetops and the full moon. Shivers ran up to my shoulders, sneaking playfully under the hem of my shirt. Even though soaring through the sky felt so simple, there was still something evil weighing me down. The culprit was definitely still in the village. They were hiding something horrible under a mask of piousness.
А что ты рисуешь?
Embarrassed, I covered the notebook as if there was something shameful about the figures above the forest.
Да ничего, так, дурака валяю.
Polina put her elbows on the desk. I had already forgotten how light and graceful she was, just like a violin. The anger and rage that boiled inside me yesterday during our phone call subsided, hid in a hole. I just couldn't stay mad at Polina. Yeah, because it's not really reasonable to be mad at her. I wish she could also jump around with us, after stripping away her mask and fake mundanity. I smiled, imagining Polina's skirt flapping in the wind, the stars sparkling all around us, her asking in bewilderment whether it was all a dream. Myself telling her that it doesn't matter. Polina's expression grew dark again.
Ужасно еще и то, что Катю мне жалеть сложно.
Yeah, but that's natural. That's actually more normal than... Like, whenever you hear somebody's a victim of something, you think, or potential victim of something, you know you should be feeling sympathy because them and their loved ones are probably going through a horrible time. But if you've been mistreated by these people, it is completely normal, natural to not care. To not care or to go, well, we're bozo, right? It's okay.
Я правда ищу в себе сострадание, но вспоминаю ее поступки и...
Polina shook her head.
Я чудовище, да?
No, I thought. You're one of the most beautiful girls I've ever met. But alas, you're only number 2 on that list. I decided not to say that out loud. Yeah, bro, because we're looking at real-life situations and all you can think about is your pee-pee. Okay, that's not fair to say. That's not fair to say. I just don't think it's good in this instant, you know?
Плохо, наверное, что исчезновение анкеты расстроило меня больше, чем пропажа одноклассницы.
My nostrils picked up the smell of candy, tree resin, and fireworks.
Ты потеряла анкету?
Да, и кто-то сейчас читает чужие секреты.
Yes, the forest, I thought, imagining the crooked branches turning notebook pages, touching the childish handwriting with their icy twigs.
Надеюсь, ее найдут.
I was unsure whether she spoke about Katya or her notebook. I wanted to ask her about it, but then I noticed Polina's intense stare directly at me.
Что?
Ты будто изменился.
I smoothed my hair flat, surprised.
Просто не выспался.
Сегодня ты точно какая-то другая мелодия. Очень древняя,
I
таинственная.
love the way she describes people with music. I thought about the flute's melody, streaming between the bushy treetops.
Надеюсь, ты никому не рассказал про наш вчерашний разговор?
Что ты?
She nodded as if acknowledging that she can fully trust me. I was unsure whether I merited such trust. Her hair cascaded down around her shoulders. The smell was so wonderful that it sent me flying toward the glowing stars of my inner cosmos without any magic. Yasha jumped at me like a jack-in-the-box toy and yelled in my ear.
Опачки! А чё это у вас за суры-муры-на?
Oh, God.
Ты чё, очкарик, Полиночку охмуряешь?
Polina came to my help, even though I didn't ask her to. Or maybe I did, with my entire appearance.
Что за глупости? Мы просто друзья.
Твоя подружка, значит? Ходишь вместе за платьями? С этим педиком?
Никакой он не педик. И вообще, отвянь от Петрова.
I needed to do something, but I just sat there, clutching the edge of my desk. Romka gave me a deriding snort.
Баба тебя спасла, уродец. Живи пока.
My enemies left the classroom, guffawing. Polina showed me a sad smile.
Будь сильным.
I wanted to scream that I couldn't. I couldn't be strong and stand up against these bastards. I couldn't stand up for myself or anyone else. I'm pathetic. I want to disappear into the forest, dig myself into the snow. I want to go home, get under my blanket, far away from humans. Polina left, and the thoughts that were terrorizing me finally made me weep. I stayed late after school again to escape Romka's ire for my rash act of talking to Polina. Which meant I had to drag my feet toward home in the twilight. A bored school janitor scraped a shovel against the asphalt, and the upperclassmen blew out smoke that formed clouds similar to dialogue bubbles in comics. I wanted to fill those bubbles with friendly words, but there was nothing friendly about the icy stares those guys gave me. I was leaving the unpleasant world of stale buns and nasty insults. Someone shoved me near the stairs, and their parents teach them to apologize. I crossed the village and slowed my pace near the bridge. I turned my head around, looking for my fox friend, and neither she nor my other new friends could be seen anywhere. I was met with a silent forest. It felt like a crouching predator pretending to be asleep. It still watched me with one eye, from under half-closed eyelids, and I walked through it, my fingers gripping the backpack straps, looking at my feet through a pair of glasses. Once again, black shadows flashed among the naked trees, shouting the name of a girl who was most likely already dead, over and over. Sunset fizzled over the pine tops like a flame from a gas burner set to a minimum. I walked forward, trying to hide my head on my shoulders, avoiding the sight of the crooked trees. The house was a dark stain on the white, snowy blanket. The front door was open and swayed slightly in the wind. It felt like my skin was getting covered in rime. I clenched my fists. Darkness oozed into the hallway. The snowflakes floated inside along with it, landing softly on the rug. A pack of vultures that sensed their food. I stepped into the doorway with the utmost caution. For a moment, I thought I heard someone talking in the kitchen, but it turned out to be a radio broadcast. I know what's going on. I'm just going to read what the radio is saying. The previously mentioned cyclone is getting even closer to the region. The official forecast for tomorrow suggests gusts of wind up to 70 kilometers per hour. Jesus. The Mayorcom of Russia has called on citizens to exercise extreme caution. The roads are closed off. The cold air streams coming from the Arctic are bringing massive blizzards. I heard voices coming from the upper floor, too. The staircase let out a long squeak. I took one step, yet my heart managed to beat 6 or 7 times in the meantime. The doors to my parents' bedroom was ajar. A shadow play unfolded inside the light spot. Black silhouettes were performing a dance of hatred. Mom hissed at Dad, her wrist flying toward the ceiling, and he towered over her, his hands crossed over his huge chest.
Мы все в опасности. И все из-за тебя.
Oh God.
И не ври, ты видел его в поселке.
Stop lying. You saw him in the village? What does that mean? You saw him in the village.
Он вычислил, где мы живем.
Uh-oh.
Это был не он.
Я читала в газетах, на что способны твои дружки.
I ran toward my bedroom. My parents were in the middle of another quarrel where they showered each other with their mutual accusations. Dad let out a low, beast-like roar.
Пусть они прекратят.
Olia stood in the corridor, pressing her little palms against her ears. Her face, swollen from crying, made my skin freeze.
Что случилось?
Они разведутся.
I hugged my sister and held her tight. My tongue refused to listen to my commands, to look for excuses. It felt like the screams were coming from every direction, right, left, up, and down, splitting my head apart. Swear words rained down on us, so we covered our heads with our hands, like refugees running from a bombing.
Я хочу уйти.
В свою комнату?
Нет. Дальше. Отведи меня в Небыляндию. Ты обещал.
I carefully unglued Olia's hands from her ears and led her away from the room with our parents, which was vibrating with malice.
Из-за тебя!
Ради кого?
In moments like these, I despised them more than they despised each other. I bolted down the door to my room and leaned against it. My knees gave way.
Послушай, Оля, мне тоже здесь плохо.
Ты хотя бы в школу ходишь.
I let out a sad laugh.
Эта школа кошмар. Меня там все ненавидят. Только одна девочка надо мной не смеется. Зато жалеет, как побитого пса.
Ты не пес. Ты...
Я не понимаю, кто я. Но там, снаружи, ничем не лучше, чем в доме.
Где же лучше? Давай пойдем туда. Полетим, поплывем.
Если б можно было, я бы все на свете отдал, чтобы уйти и забрать тебя с собой.
Olia's upper lip trembled.
Клянешься?
I put on a bitter smile.
Чтоб мне умереть.
Something hit the window's ledge on the outside. Olia shuddered and shifted her gaze towards it. Bam! Another snowball smacked into the window's frame.
Ты ждешь кого-то?
Hell yeah! I didn't reply. Instead, I let go of her wrists. Olia wept in fear. I crossed the room, wincing from every shout coming from my parents. I could hear plates getting smashed now. They must have moved their argument to the kitchen. I bet this motherfucker tried to walk away and she was like, nope, and started throwing everything. You get back here! Should I wait for a second? Oh, she does it every time I... Yeah, it's my friends! I flung the curtains and the window open. What up, gang? Hootie, Teddy, Wolfie, and most importantly, the charming Alyssa stood outside waving to us. Hell yeah! Only a gasp of surprise when she saw the owl girl.
Я же говорила.
Да, знаю, я тебе всегда верил.
Кто они?
Her fearful voice also had some curiosity mixed in.
Чтобы в такую погоду дома сидеть, надо быть очень скучными детьми.
Exactly, I love the snow.
Столько игр не игранных.
Давайте только не во все игры играть, а то у меня лапка болит.
Wait, is that some sort of... Did anybody get their hand hurt? I can't remember. Whatever.
По чуть-чуть, и потом отдохнем. Выходите скорее, играть и танцевать!
My heart started beating faster as soon as I saw Alyssa. My inner voice practically screamed, "She's here! She's finally here!"
Они знают, как попасть в Небыляндию.
I entertained that possibility, looking at the animal kids.
Может быть, пойдем и узнаем.
The silhouettes of my forest friends promised to free us from sadness, anger, and nightly horrors. I made sure that Olia wore warm clothes. Oh my gosh, she's adorable! My Shayla! Hold on. Mom barked at Dad like a wild beast from the show with Nikolai Drozdov. What's this? Nikolai Drozdov, a Soviet and Russian zoologist, traveler, popular science advocate, and TV host featuring the Inside the Animal Kingdom program. He is famous for his infectious optimism and overwhelmingly empathetic attitude toward animals. What a king. We sneak past the rumbling kitchen and into the snowfall outside. And you know what? I think this is probably a good place to leave it. We're going to save here. And there was no need for me to save over that. I thought it might be something else. But you know what? Yeah. That's good. Yeah. We're going to leave it here for the next video because I've got something else to do at the moment. So anyway, if you made it this far, thank you for watching so much. And I hope to see you in the next one. This game is so good. So yeah, I'm excited to continue. Anyway, bye-bye.